Board Member Morgan.
Thank you. Just really want to thank Ms. West on the update. I, Office enforcement really does not get I don't want to say attention, but the recognition that it really does deserve. There's a lot of great work that does happen, and really want to thank them for the proactive approach of using Cal and Screen. And also, while we do put a lot of focus on the penalties and fines that come in, and while that is a large part of the program, I also want to thank Ms. West for highlighting also the notice of violations. And while the goal is really for communities and the regulated community to come into compliance. And so notice of violations is a huge part of that. And you really, I might have missed it, but just curious to just, the number of notice of violations that went out over a year, and then how many of those, you um, how, what was the percentage of resolution that we received just from that first step, from the staff step of just reaching out and letting a community know that, hey, there is a violation, and working with them to bring them back into compliance. And then it not going on to more progressive enforcement. Because I think that there is just, it's a great tool to really reaching out and working with the community and not needing to go to those additional steps and really bringing, I believe a lot of work goes into just that initial step and that initial outreach and communication between our staff and the regulated community, and just helping to understand what is the regulation, what is the violation, and helping to that initial education and helping to comply with our regulations. And so I think, you probably don't have that information right now, Ms. West, but I think maybe for future updates that I would find that information also helpful and useful, because I know that once you do get into the larger investigations and proceeding further down progressive enforcement, that you are really there, more time and energy is spent, and that is yes, definitely interested in those numbers and where you are there, but then also just, how much doesn't have to go that far? How many, how much additional work is really getting put into just that initial phase?
Yeah, I really appreciate that comment. Just one quick response. That is an area where our staff spends a lot of time. I have to hand it to, as Board Member Firestone pointed out, it's not just the Office of Enforcement. We work with every program and across programs, and it is really the enforcement staff in those programs that, in coordination with our office, are doing a lot of that heavy lifting and that assistance, that compliance assistance and communications. And, generally we see, a third of those go on to more formal enforcement from an NOV stage. But a lot of the work does go into that notice of violation stage and that outreach and that compliance assistance. One area that's really good at that is the Division of Water Rights. They do a ton of education every time somebody reaches out to them, because it is a complex system with a lot of rules that are not easily understood quickly. So yeah, I really appreciate that, Board Member Morgan, and I always am looking for that rate and getting it, and you have to break it into individual programs to get it. But I think just on a high level, I'll continue to work on refining those numbers. But it's about a third. About a third keeps going, and the rest of them we do get compliance, and we do get it at that notice of violation stage from a lot of folks.